Good afternoon, grade 9 coding class. It is the 23rd of July and we are looking at until loops in a maze. We are going to do puzzle 1 to 8. And that is basically going to be, sorry, I'm just checking all my settings and things here. I'll chat on that in a minute. So until loops is a loop that is the way that it executes the code isn't dependent on a set value that we set using a variable. It is actually looking at a condition, and it's using a condition to then determine how to execute the code. Right. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Mr. Paul de Klerk. I am the senior phase coding teacher for STEM Digital School. And if you are on the YouTube channel, you can feel free to drop down into the video description box to join the live lessons. You can register there on the links, and then we can you can come and join us here. Right now, this is where I need to just quickly chat on this, and I'm going to try to not spend a lot of time on this. So at the moment, you see our chats are set to host only. So you can either send the host himself a private message, or you can send me a private message. We have realized that some students are private messaging each other in the lessons, setting up their own Zoom calls, which they call like break time calls or kid Zoom calls. And then they also send out telephone numbers for WhatsApps and so on. So we want the parents and our students just to be aware that that is not sanctioned by us. It's not something that we advise the kids to do or that we want the students to do. So for now and for the foreseeable future, all of our chats will be set to that, and we will make sure that we try and get this sorted and get an official communication from the school out as well. Okay, so you can send me a direct message. All you need to do is when you go into the chat box at the bottom, there's a little arrow, and you can click on that and make sure you clicked on my name before you send the message. Instead of, you see the other one is Lockdown09 Digital School. He is the host, right? So if you send him a message, he won't be able to help you with links or anything like that. He's just making sure that Zoom is running the way it should and then uploading that to YouTube later. So if you want any class-specific things answered, you send that to me by selecting my name in the chat, and then I will receive it as a private message. Okay, and then I will chat to you about that. Keep those messages respectful. Otherwise, we're going to have a problem. Right, let's move on. So here's a bit of coding humor. I decided I want to move away from the quotes for now and just focus on having a bit of fun. So this is, they don't make bugs like Bunny anymore. And that's a bit of a coding joke there. Now, just in case you didn't know, Bugs Bunny was a cartoon character when we were kids, and bugs are mistakes that you find in code. So this is referring to the fact that they're not making cartoon characters like that anymore. They are making mistakes in coding rather. Okay, the generation at the moment. Right, so here we have terms that you should know: conditionals, if-else logic statements that change the way code is executed, and the conditional loop repeats that. There we go. This keeps tripping me up. It's a repeat block that executes the code while a condition is true or until a condition has been met. Okay. So the way I read that sentence doesn't matter. What does matter is this, right? We are going to get into this and have a look at these puzzles, and we will be using until loops to solve them. Okay. So let me jump to that. We still have to do this last one in harvesting with conditional, so we'll look at that. And then we'll jump to the Minecraft one. Oh, this is just a question, okay? Pretty straightforward. The sprouts in this puzzle will be either corn or lettuce. Take a close look at the code below. What will happen after you click run? Repeat until there are pumpkins, so we know whatever's in here is going to happen until she's standing on that block. If the code doesn't guide her to stand on that block, it will never stop. Code will keep on running. Okay, so if you write this code to make her go in a block over and over and over on the outlines here, so she never ends up on that, it'll just keep on going. This the platform code.org will time it out, obviously. But in effect, if it wasn't for that, it would have just kept on going, right? So now we see there's a move forward, turn left, move forward, turn right. So move forward, turn left, move forward, turn right. And that's obviously going to repeat again. Forward, left, forward, right, forward, left, forward, right, forward, left, forward, right, 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 right. Okay, so that the movement section of this is going to work. And then we need to determine whether these are happening on the right place. So here they have, while there is corn, pick corn. So that one is good. While there is lettuce, pick lettuce. So they said that there can only be corn or lettuce. So this is good. We just need to determine whether, so now we've seen this sequence is fine and this sequence is fine. Now we need to find out whether they are in the correct sequence according to each other, if we are relating to each other, right? So we have a move forward, turn left, move forward, turn right, and then a harvesting. So we should be good to go because we are going to actually be standing on top of the crop for this to happen. The only problem that I do see is that there isn't a pick pumpkin here. So let's see. The harvester will collect all of the crops. It depends on whether they see the pumpkin as a part of the crops. The harvester will not pick any of the crops with the path she's taking. So that one is obviously not the right answer. The harvester will pick all of the crops except the pumpkin. So that's the one we want to look at because there isn't a pick pumpkin anywhere in the sequence. If you were going to add it, you would have had to add it here after that, but it's not there. So we're good to go. Okay. I gave you one of these yesterday. Was it this one? I'm not sure if it was for this class or for another one. Ooh, this looks fun. 14 blocks. It's a very varied vegetable maze. Turn right at pumpkins, turn left at lettuce, collect everything to complete the level. Okay. So if you are at a lettuce, you have to turn left. And if you are at a pumpkin, you have to turn right. So let's see, how are we going to do this? The first thing we need to do is just figure out how to move. So for here, we're going to move forward. The problem is we only have one. So we're going to have to repeat that. While path ahead, I think, is going to be the one that we want to use. And then we're going to say if there is lettuce, no, I'm like, this goes here. We want you to turn left. Where's that turn? Turn left. Come on now. Okay, let's just test that for now. Run, please. Why is it moving past the lettuce? Now that's strange. Okay. It's actually not strange. It makes sense. Right. Then we want to say, if there is a pumpkin, we want you to turn right. And then just check. So this is all based off of what they gave us there. Not a lettuce, a pumpkin, if there are pumpkins. Try that again. So this is all based off of what they gave us, right? I didn't figure this out for myself to understand whether it's going to work or not. But if I have to look at it just without knowing what they told us, it would have worked because this route is blocked here. Okay, so now it becomes a bit of a tricky one. So we want to say while there is corn, pick corn, right? Let's test this over here. Okay. So now we're getting rid of all the corn. That's done. Awesome. Then we need to do the lettuce. we test that as well to make sure that our turns are now still working, right? That's what I was afraid of. If the lettuce is gone, how's it going to know to turn left there? So we're going to have to put that after this. Let's test it now. Yes, beautiful. Okay. So with the corn, this is what I've been showing you all the way throughout that entire puzzle. Remember I said whether you put the turn first or then the harvest, it doesn't make a difference, right? So for none of those puzzles it did, because none of the crops that we were harvesting was being used to trigger something else or being used to measure. Have I sent this link to you? Hey, why didn't nobody send me a message? Sorry about that. Okay, there's the link. Please, guys, if you see I missed the links or stuff, type in a private message to me. Hey, teacher, we want the link. Okay. Yes. So usually the turn doesn't matter whether you turn first and then harvest or harvest and then turn. But in this situation, it will, because the lettuce is now the conditional. So what happens when the lettuce isn't there anymore? Exactly this. There's nothing for the code to tell the harvester to turn at. Now the lettuce is gone, so where is she going to turn? All right. So the pumpkin's going to be done the same way. While there is our pumpkins, we want you to pick a pumpkin. Again, you can't put this before, because then when the pumpkin is gone, there's not going to be anything to tell this harvester to turn. Awesome. So the one thing that I'm wondering about is if we take this corn one and put it in here, how's that going to affect everything? And it doesn't seem to. So that just goes to show, right? If it's one of the crops that's not being used to trigger an action to measure whether a condition is true or not, it doesn't matter if you put it before or after your movement blocks. Okay. This one is going to be much of the same. I want to look at these because it's vitally important that you understand these ideas before we move on to the next puzzles, right? The pumpkins mark the place where you should turn right. Otherwise, keep going forward. But remember to collect all of the lettuce or corn along the way. Each hidden crop has only one corn or lettuce. Okay, so this one is a bit easier. It's only one the entire time. So again, we're going to say while there is a path ahead, we need you to move forward, right? That one is straightforward. It has to happen. Then we want to say again, if there is a pumpkin, we want you to turn right. But now it is becoming now it is also becoming a situation of saying if there are pumpkins, we want to pick that pumpkin. Okay, so let's test this. Why is this not working? Either I'm lagging or I have full access here. Yes, the site seems to be laggy. Let me just do this quickly. Test that. Okay, it remains laggy. Right, I'm going to jump to another course. It might be that they're working on these servers. Okay, so just give me a second to do that. Okay, there we go. Now there's movement. And now it's completely removed. Okay, let's try this one last time. While there is a path ahead, we want to move forward. We run this. No, I don't have the patience for this type of thing. So I'm just going to do this and jump into the next lesson. Right. Okay, so now we've done, there was a bit of a mix up, right? We did this one and now we've done that one. Now we're getting into the Angry Bird one. So let's get to that and see what we have to deal with. Okay, so this is the same one that we had earlier, while there's a path ahead. But you see here, it also gives us the option to choose while there is a pile or while there's a hole. Now, obviously that's not applicable to this puzzle because there aren't piles and holes here. That was for the harvester and for lying for the farmer, not for the harvester. Okay, so don't stress about that. But again, before we even start this, just in case we have, thanks for reminding me, Queasy. Let me just do this to everyone. There we go, the link. Okay, before we get going with this, just in case we have some YouTube viewers that might not have coded with us before, all I want you to have a look at is the following, right? We need to break it down into smaller options. So earlier, we had to do something with the harvester. You had to tell the harvester to harvest the crop, get corn or whatever the case might be, get pumpkin or whatever. With this, you only need to land on top of the pig. So we break it down into problems. This problem is we need to move there. So for that, we're going to move forward, obviously, and we're just going to say while there's a path ahead. Then we want to turn left and run it. So you see the bird is checking whether there's a path or not. Awesome. And that we then obviously repeat 3 times. Come on. There we go. Right, so that's easy enough, right? That's one of the easiest ones that we're going to do in a while. Just type to me in the chat if we can move on. Okay. So now look at this one. It says, repeat until pig. We want you to do that. So take a close look at the code below. What do you think will happen when you click run? The bird will not move at all. That's A. B is saying the bird will make it to the pig. C is saying the bird will move towards and run, or the bird will move forward and run into the TNT. So this is saying while there is a path ahead, move forward. So even if we didn't have this repeat, this one would not allow the bird to hit the TNT, right? So that won't happen. The bird is going to move because we have this while path ahead, we want you to move, right? So that is going to cause the bird to move, and this is a turn left. So where we previously said repeat times 3, this one is now saying repeat until goal. The goal is the pig. So in my opinion, the answer is going to be, I don't know, you need to tell me in the chat. I've forgotten now. Well done, Kwezi. Okay, good. So we can see it's working, right? We had the right answer there. So now we want to use that same logic to get to the pig. And I want you to tell me in the chat how to do that. Listen, I'm going to set this to public, right? It's difficult for me to get the code from you if you are sending it to me privately. If you receive a private message from anybody that's not me or the host, send me a private message so that I can stop that quickly. But most of the students that I have in here, I know you by this time. So I'm not going to stress too much about that for now. But it's difficult for me to get code from you if we don't all work on it together in that chat box, because then one types move forward and the other one types move forward, and then we're never going to move forward. So just go. Tell me where and what and how and which blocks and so on and so forth. I really, really, really want you to help me solve this one. Take note that there are only 2 move forwards there, right? And we're limited to 6 blocks. Kwezi, any ideas? Charlton? You can start by just typing singular blocks. You don't have to write the entire thing out. Awesome, there we go. I received it. It says move forward, turn right, move forward, turn left. Okay, cool. So we're going to do that. Move forward, turn right, and move forward, turn left. Beautiful. Then, what do we do after that? And remember, it's not under that, it's after, right? The code is sequential. So one thing happens before another, or something happens after something else. Okay, no, we shouldn't have. We could have done the sequence, tested the sequence and see, oh, beautiful, it works for there. So it needs to work for there and there and there as well. And now you just place everything in the repeat. Okay, remember, it's easier to just test your sequence just for this first section of the puzzle or the maze, instead of placing it into this entire repeat and then trying to figure out how to move. So Kwezi, you followed the correct problem-solving workflow. This is perfect. Well done. This is exactly how I would have done it if I was teaching it to you. Okay. Instead of asking you. Right. So there we go. We created the sequence that's responsible for the movement. The pattern was identified, and then it was placed into a repeat, right? So instead of taking a repeat where we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we just place it into a repeat that says until goal. And it eliminates our need to have to come and count that, because this is going to do it on our behalf. Okay. I'm going to continue. Right. So we are on this next puzzle here. Dear person, me zombie, me hungry, must get to sunflower. Can you get the zombie to the sunflower using only the blocks that are available? Okay. Let's see. We only have 6. So how are we going to do this? Again, you'll see I'm going to start by assigning these things first. Yes, same sequence as last time. And this time it's saying repeat until flower. So this, I don't know what they did here, but this until loops with a maze used to be before all the other ones that we've already done. Because this is supposed to guide you now from understanding that the picture of the flower and the picture of the pig is the goal, right? So anyway, same thing. And you see, I approached it in the same way. I first created the sequence, then I dropped it in a loop. If you loop it from the beginning and you make a mistake, then you're going to struggle. Okay. Struggle to identify, to see that mistake. Right. Let's have a look at this one. Use the if block to help the zombie decide when to turn. Then get the zombies to the sunflower. So what they're saying here is we need to use the if block to help the zombie to turn. Okay. So we're not just going to say move forward, turn left. Or at the moment, we're going to have to. Let's do it this way rather. Okay, so the repeat is telling him to move forward, and while it is telling him to move forward, it is checking left the entire time, whether there is a path or not. I just want to show you, if you did it this way, it would do the same thing. Once the path isn't there anymore, it's going to jump onto the repeat that comes next, okay? But they told us we need to use the if block to help the zombie decide, so that's what we did. We used the if block. Right. So this is just a bit of a more advanced version than the one we just had. Not the code, but the puzzle. So you can see that the puzzle can actually, or that same sequence can do a bit more. Right, so what we're going to do is, again, repeat. I don't mind if you start with the repeat on one that's easy like this. This is a very easy sequence. So if you just place the repeat on and then build your sequence, it's fine. The problem-solving workflow actually dictates us to do it the other way around. But I mean, this is easy enough. Okay. Can we continue here? Okay. So here we have the same thing as we've had this entire time, right? The main thing is this, that there isn't a pattern where we can use the number repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So we'll just do it this way again. Move forward. This time when the path is to the left, we want to turn left. Oh, thank goodness. A challenge puzzle, finally. I've started to get bored with those other ones. And because it's a challenge puzzle, it's your turn. Tell me in the chat box which blocks I should use. There we go. So you tell me which blocks to draw onto our workspace. It says to avoid the chompers. While you do that, I just want to show you what happens when you hit the chomper. And we only have move forward, so you can't make it go back. And then we're going to do this. Just in case you haven't seen this before. Oh, it stops because the code realized, oops, I don't want to be here. Let's just run it. Not because this is the code that we're going to run, just because I want to see what it looks like when the flower eats the zombie. Is the hand actually still hanging out there? Shame, man. Sad. Poor little zombie. But the zombie is already dead, so it's probably not that bad. Okay, so can you just write to me in the chat box what blocks you want me to place on the workspace? This thing wants us to do it in 9 blocks. I wonder if we can do it in less. Okay. So that's the one option. But there isn't a path to the right there. So if we add an if path to the left, turn left, maybe that'll work for us. Okay, so that does work, but I don't like this. I wonder if there's a different way to do this. No, obviously not. Not without breaking the block limit. Because I can get it to cleanly walk through to there, the way we have it now. Stop, stop, stop. Oh no, it's not going to. It's only going to turn once the path is gone. Okay, so the one we had that isn't that beautiful, it's the only way. There's a move forward. If there is a path to the left, we want you to turn left. If there's a path to the right, we want you to turn right. No, this one. Now it's going the other way around. Okay. So if we put it this way, it's going to use another route. And that's just due to how the sequencing is acting to it, right? It's checking, decides it's turning, but then after that, it sees there's another path, so it makes another plan. Okay. Again, this one should be pretty straightforward. I mean, we want to just move forward. And then if there's a path to the right, no, we don't want to do it that way. We want to do this and turn right when we are at the end of each pathway. Let's see if we do it the other way, what's going to happen. We do this. If there's a path to the right. The reason I'm doubting about that is I wonder if these won't start to affect us. And now we're walking through here, then we're going to come up here. No, we're not, because there isn't a turn left. Okay, so that won't work. The only way, in my opinion, is this. So we stayed within our restriction of 5 blocks, and we've reached our goal. Look carefully at the code below. What will happen after you click run? The zombie will pass the correct path and end up going back and forth forever. The zombie will make it to the sunflower. The zombie will turn right at the first path and go around in circles forever. So what is this saying? While there is a path ahead, move and then turn right. So as long as there's a path ahead, he's going to move, and he'll only turn right once there isn't a path ahead anymore, which is there. Then he's going to try and walk this way, up. Then there won't be a path ahead, so he'll turn right again. Then he's going to come and walk this way, same problem. No path, turn right. Move, no path, turn right. Back here. So it's going to do this, back and forth. Okay. I'm going to leave you with this one. You can do this on your own. The one we tried to do earlier, that's not working. Okay. So until loops in a maze puzzle 8, we've now done to puzzle 9. So we'll just do 8, 10, and 11 and then move on to whatever's next. All right. If you've got any questions or you'd like to share your homework with me, that's my email address. You can find us on Africa Teen Geeks, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and YouTube as well. Okay? Then I'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you for being here. Bye-bye.